Hi, it's Lori from Coast to Coast Craft Girls coming to you from the West Coast. I'm working on some different ways of using my alcohol markers, or not necessarily different, but non-traditional ways of using my alcohol markers. And for this one, I used them to create a background. Very simple, very quick. It goes together in just minutes, but I think it's perfect for, especially for mail cards, because it's very geometric and you can use it through stencils, but I just used a ruler and created almost like this little faux plaid background with my alcohol markers. And because you used your markers, you can color your sentiment. If you just cut it out of white cardstock, you can color your sentiment using the same markers, and then you get a perfect match every time. Really easy to do, goes together in minutes. So let me show you how it's made. Okay, so for this card, I used the Doves in Flight layering die set, and I cut this larger dove, and I just cut it 100% out of white cardstock, and I'm just going to use my alcohol marker to give it a little bit of shading. Okay, so this is the bottom layer, and then this layer is going to go right on top there. Okay, so I want to shade a little bit underneath, and this is just a Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend brush pen ice gray blend. It's 3 colors of ice gray, and it's an alcohol marker, and it's a brush pen. So I'm going to use the bottom, and the first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to take kind of and flick up from the bottom of those wings, just following the embossing. And I'm not trying to color it gray, I'm just trying to give it a little bit of color, shading, something. Okay, and same on the tail. I'm going to do the same thing on the tail. And same on this wing. And then I'm going to do the same thing on this piece. So I put my dove all together. I just, like I said, I use that gray pen to just kind of edge the the edges of each piece. And that gives you just a little bit of definition without actually coloring the bird, which I didn't want to do because I wanted him to be white. And then I did cut the sentiment, the hello sentiment, from white as well. And then I used my alcohol marker to color the hello and just put it on the white shadow layer. And the reason I used my alcohol markers is because I'm going to create my background with my alcohol markers. And this way you guarantee that it's a perfect match because you're using the same marker to color your sentiment as you are for your background. If you ever want to match, just use your markers, because then you can guarantee that you're going to get exactly the same color. You don't have to worry about having that color cardstock. So I've got my 4¼ by 5½ inch, it's just a strip of cardstock, and I've got a ruler, and I'm going to use the Glacier Caves pens, and I'm just going to create a little bit of a pattern on here. So I'm going to mark, I'm just going to put a little pencil line every 1/2 inch. Top and bottom. And then I'm going to go down the side. So 3/4, 1½, 2¼ 3, 3¾ 4½. Same on this side. So 3/4, 1½, 2¼ 3, 3¾ 4½. Okay. Now I'm going to take my pens and I'm going to use this, let's see, what is this? Caribbean Sky. And I'm going to use the bullet tip and I'm going to draw down every other line. So I'm going to connect my ruler and just draw down every other line. Okay. And I'm going to do the same thing this way. I'm going to skip the top. Okay. I'm going to take my next darker marker, which is uh, Persian blue, and I'm going to come down one, skip one, two, one, skip one, and use the darker one, sapphire. I'm going to do the rest of the lines. I'm going to take my lightest marker. I'm going to use my lighter marker and come down just on either side of those dark lines. It just kind of creates this nice, almost like plaid type background. And you can use it to trace, to do stencils if you wanted, you know, to trace the pattern in a stencil. But it gives you an opportunity to just kind of create your own little background. And then because I colored my sentiment with that same blue, it's going to match perfectly. Now, the one thing I am going to do is I'm going to take that darkest blue pen and I'm going to take the brush tip and I'm just going to go around. I'm just laying it along the edge of that white shadow layer. And it's going to give me a nice little border that's going to help it stand out from the background without me coloring the cardstock. But it just gives you a nice little edge. It's a super easy way to create like a faux matte layer. You can do this with alcohol markers or with like gold paint markers if you want gold. But see, now when I put that on there, it stands out just a little bit better. And then I'm going to put my dove on there, just like that. And I'm going to raise him up so he's off the background. So let me put this on. It's a really simple way of using your markers to create just a fun background. It's very simple, but you can match it to whatever you're using. I'm just going to use my 3D glue gel. There we go. All done. Love how that came out. Fun way of using your markers to create just a really nice, almost geometric background. And you can use it to trace stencils if you want as well, which is really fun. So thanks for watching.